Imagine scrolling through your feed and stopping cold at the news. Tyrus, the towering personality who dominated WWE rings and stirred debate on Fox News, just walked down the aisle. The surprise hit like a thunderclap after months of cryptic social media posts about new chapters and unexpected blessings. He's finally tied the knot. But who is this mystery woman who captured the heart of the former professional wrestler turned political commentator? Today we peel back the curtain on Tyrus's whirlwind romance, revealing the incredible backstory and the twist no one saw coming. Brooklyn Tyrus Wilson, better known simply as Tyrus, first made waves as part of NXT under the name Brodus Clay. His Funkasaurus persona, complete with disco grooves and infectious charisma, turned him into an instant crowd favorite. Over the years he parlayed that same magnetic energy into acting roles and a high-profile stint on Fox News' The Five. Along the way, fans speculated endlessly about his personal life. He was seen at events solo, interviewed with countless co-hosts, and snapped in paparazzi shots with various companions. Yet he rarely confirmed any serious relationships. His approach always hinted at seeking the right person, a mantra that fueled fan theories and endless social media sleuthing. That all changed when he started sharing candid behind-the-scenes glimpses last winter, shots of candlelit dinners, roses on a hotel balcony, and a hand with a gleaming ring laid gently on his massive forearm. Followers exploded with guesses. Was it an old flame returned? A fellow athlete? Someone from Hollywood? The comments ranged from "we deserve to know" to "who is she?" and Tyrus remained tantalizingly silent, letting each cryptic story slide heighten the suspense. Teasers dropped at just the right intervals, a cropped photo of two coffee cups perched on a table for two, a giggle slipping through the frame as a brunette head flicked into view, and a shared playlist of love songs that hinted at deep emotional chords. To understand why this marriage comes as such a twist, we need to rewind through Tyrus's journey, from the roar of the wrestling ring to the glare of the cable news studio. Born in Pasadena, California, he discovered his love for performance early, channeling raw athleticism into football and track before making the leap to professional wrestling in 2006. By the time he debuted on NXT in 2011, he was celebrated for both his agility and his stage presence. Inside the squared circle, his towering frame and joyful dances belied a fierce competitor. Outside, his humility and humor made him a favorite among peers. Yet despite countless tag team wins and on-screen alliances, the storyline of his personal life remained blank, leaving fans hungry for real-life romance arcs. His transition to cable news in 2019 only amplified curiosity. On Fox News, Tyrus brought a blend of humor, honesty, and unexpected nuance to political debates. Viewers whispered about his chemistry with co-host Kara Swisher and puzzled over late-night check-ins at DC hotspots. Once, paparazzi caught him exiting a themed party clutching an elegant black clutch bag, not his usual gym duffel. But he never confirmed anything, deflecting questions with witty comebacks and shifting focus back to policy debates. The result, his professional persona loomed large, his private life shrouded in near-total mystery. Behind the persona, however, Tyrus was no stranger to romance. In a rare 2021 interview with Men's Health, he recounted a serious past relationship derailed by career demands. "I was on the road more than home," he admitted. "When I wasn't training or filming, I was on set or in a studio. I let that passion consume me, and I paid the price in my personal life." That confession painted a picture of someone learning to balance ambition and affection, a lesson that would set the stage for the unexpected union we celebrate today. Fast forward to late 2023. Hollywood masked balls, charity galas, and late-night talk show appearances dotted his calendar, and there in the peripheral glow, emerged a woman whose name few recognized: model and philanthropist Alana Reyes. Born in Miami to Cuban-American parents, Alana built her own brand by blending high-fashion campaigns with grassroots activism on mental health. Social justice hashtags trailed her like confetti, and her Instagram showcased both couture and candid posts about community work. The moment their worlds collided remains unconfirmed. Rumors swirl that a mutual friend in the entertainment world orchestrated a chance meeting at a Los Angeles art gallery opening, where Tyrus and Alana discovered a shared love for vintage jazz recordings and the same obscure French filmmakers. From that night on, sources say, Alana and Tyrus were inseparable, They attended Dodgers games together disguised in hoodies, cooked vegan dinners at his Hollywood Hills home, and even collaborated on a LA youth empowerment event, he as the keynote speaker, she as the organizing lead. In a fleeting moment captured on TikTok, Tyrus whispered something in Alana's ear that made her dissolve into laughter, her head tilting back as she wiped away a tear of joy. Observers noted the depth in his gaze. This was not a casual fling, but a connection imbued with mutual respect, intellectual spark, and emotional safety that both had long sought. Then came the proposal. In early 2024, Tyrus whisked Alana away to a secluded villa on the Amalfi Coast, trading Hollywood glam for cliffside olive groves and the Mediterranean's turquoise expanse. Live videos on Instagram hinted at a romantic candlelit dinner overlooking the sea. Weeks later, fans discovered Alana wearing a classic emerald-cut diamond ring nestled on her ring finger, the one that stopped hearts worldwide. The caption read simply, "Forever starts today," and the likes poured in by the thousands. Yet still, details remained scant, no announcement of a wedding date, no clue about the ceremony's location, only the promise that something spectacular was on the horizon. Now, as the photos emerge of Tyrus walking down a sun-dappled aisle arm in arm with Alana, dressed in a flowing white gown designed by an up-and-coming Cuban-American designer, viewers everywhere gasp. The venue, a renovated hacienda in Santa Barbara, with centuries-old olive trees for a natural arch and artisan lanterns illuminating the dusk. The guest list reads like an entertainment industry who's who. Yet the real star is the couple's radiant joy. In Section 2, we'll dive into the ceremony's unexpected details, the emotional vows that reflect their shared pasts, and how this marriage signals a new chapter for two public figures, refusing to let fame define their bond. Under a golden Santa Barbara sunset, Tyrus and Alana stood beneath a natural arch woven from centuries-old olive branches and delicate white jasmine blooms. A gentle breeze carried the scent of citrus groves as guests, some in linen suits and others in silk gowns, settled onto wooden benches facing the adobe hacienda's weathered ivory facade. The air buzzed with anticipation, punctuated by the soft strum of a flamenco guitarist. In that moment, the wrestling ring's roar, and the TV studio's glare felt oceans away, replaced by hushed whispers of wonder at this intimate celebration of love. Instead of a traditional justice of the peace, they invited Cesar Sandoval, a close family friend and former choreographer who had taught Tyrus his first dance steps in NXT. Sandoval opened with a brief flamenco prayer, praising the couple's courage to defy expectations and commit to vulnerability. He then recounted how he witnessed Tyrus's earliest heartbreaks and Alana's tireless advocacy work, weaving their separate histories into a shared tapestry. Guests leaned forward as he spoke of two people who traded fame's fickle spotlight for the promise of unwavering partnership. Alana's vow was the ceremony's emotional pinnacle. In a voice steady yet trembling with feeling, she thanked Tyrus for teaching me that strength comes from softness, recalling nights he held her through panic attacks and dawns he greeted her with coffee in bed. She spoke of learning patience as he balanced public debates with private devotion. Then, surprising many, she recited lines from a poem she'd written on their first trip, an ode to two souls seeking shelter under the same sky. Tears glistened on her cheeks as she slipped his custom-engraved platinum band onto his finger. When Tyrus rose for his turn, he paused to wipe his brow against the tulip-white lining of his tuxedo jacket, the same jacket he'd worn when he first agreed to the Men's Health interview. He spoke candidly about risking everything on a leap of faith, crediting Alana with reopening his capacity to love beyond adrenaline and applause. He joked about trading powerbombs for poetry, describing how her laughter had become his greatest victory. Then, his voice catching on the final syllable, he promised to champion her mental health initiatives the way he once championed crushed opponents, relentlessly, and with unwavering loyalty. Amid those vows, the guest list revealed a striking blend of worlds. Wrestling trainees in custom leather jackets sat beside tech entrepreneurs in linen blazers. Media personalities, several former opponents from the ring, and Alana's fellow mental health activists gathered shoulder to shoulder. Autographed posters hung discreetly in corners for well-wishers, while a holographic slideshow projected candid moments from the couple's journey. Grape-stained selfies at vineyard tours, late-night brainstorming sessions for youth programs, and surprise birthday serenades on Broadway. Designer Elena Martinez, the Cuban-American creative behind Alana's gown, described her inspiration as the perfect fusion of Tyrus's strength and Alana's serenity. The dress featured hand-embroidered olive branches cascading from the bodice down a flowing silk skirt, echoing the ceremony's natural decor. Tyrus looked regal in an ivory dinner jacket tailored to accentuate his formidable silhouette, with sleeve linings patterned in Alana's favorite shade of cobalt blue, a private nod to her artistic eye. Their attire became more than fashion. It was a silent testament to their shared narrative. Photo-clad balconies filled with smartphones as the couple shared their first kiss against the zenith of orange-pink sky. Social media erupted as clips went viral, fans praising the couple's authenticity and design critics lauding the gown's groundbreaking eco-friendly fabrics. Headlines hailed it as reality's most unexpected royal wedding, while commentators speculated about the union's impact on Tyrus's public image as a straight-talking commentator and former athlete. Yet beneath the digital buzz lay something more profound, a collective exhale of hope for love grounded in mutual respect. In lieu of a traditional wedding registry, Tyrus and Alana launched the Resilience Foundation, pledging to support mental health programs in underserved communities and fund wrestling and art scholarships for at-risk youth. Guests were encouraged to donate to the foundation in lieu of gifts, a move that surprised many but encapsulated the couple's ethos to transform celebration into service. As the sun dipped below the Pacific horizon, the party transitioned into a lantern release, each light carrying a whispered wish for growth, healing, and lifelong partnership. By the night's end, when guests danced barefoot under string lights to a live jazz trio, it became clear that this union transcended celebrity spectacle. It was an invitation to rewrite narratives, proof that two seemingly divergent worlds can converge and flourish under the banner of genuine connection. Tyrus and Alana's marriage is more than a headline. It signals a new chapter not just for them, but for anyone who dares to redefine success and happiness on their own terms. Their story reminds us that love can emerge even when fame fades, and purpose thrives in unity. Boldly define unity. Once the last lantern drifted above the olive trees and the final jazz notes faded into the night, Tyrus and Alana slipped away for a honeymoon that felt more like a pilgrimage to the places that shaped them. Their first stop was Havana, where Alana's Cuban heritage guided them through sun-baked plazas and pastel-hued facades. He marveled at her fluency in Cuban Spanish, watching her greet vendors with warm laughter and barter for hand-woven hammocks. They spent mornings strolling colonial streets, sampling fresh guava pastries with Café Cubano, and evenings perched on rooftop terraces beneath a warm Caribbean breeze. In that vibrant city, they traded vows for whispered dreams, plans for a life infused with both activism and authenticity. After 3 days in Havana's art-lined alleys, the couple decamped to Iceland's rugged coast, seeking solitude amid volcanic peaks and glacier-sculpted fjords. Here, Tyrus abandoned his customary bravado in favor of quiet awe, as Alana led him through geothermal fields and masked hot springs. Beneath the dancing aurora borealis, they shared stories of heartbreak and renewal, unraveling the fears that once held them back. A silent pact formed between them, to preserve wonder in their partnership, never allowing routine to extinguish the spark that ignited under Amalfi's sunset. For two public figures, this off-the-grid escape became a revelation, proof that real magic arises when you step beyond scripted expectations. Upon returning home, the world watched as candid photos of Tyrus and Alana redefined celebrity romance. Entertainment outlets dissected every detail from her bohemian chic suitcase to his Maui-style board shorts, yet social media quickly shed speculative tones in favor of genuine admiration. Fans flooded comments with messages like "We finally see you, smiling for you," and "Thank you for showing us balance is possible." The reaction underscored a shift. Audiences no longer crave scandal as validation of a star's humanity. Instead, they yearn for evidence that public success can coexist with private serenity. This viral uplift set a new standard for how audiences engage with the personal lives of personalities they admire. Meanwhile, Tyrus stepped back briefly from his Fox News appearances, inviting co-hosts to cover for him as he and Alana launched their Resilience Foundation. Their first public event featured a panel of mental health experts and former athletes who discussed performance pressure and emotional stamina. Tyrus spoke plainly about his own battles with anxiety in the ring and the studio, crediting Alana's unwavering support for teaching him that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. The event sold out within hours, with proceeds funding scholarships for young athletes to access counseling services. The partnership revealed a powerful synergy, his platform and her advocacy, united to spotlight mental wellness in communities often deprived of resources. As their foundation gained momentum, Alana and Tyrus invited industry friends to join efforts. Fellow wrestlers donated signed memorabilia for fundraising auctions. Media personalities recorded public service announcements encouraging men to seek help for emotional distress. Behind the scenes, Tyrus drafted a detailed outreach plan with Alana, mapping rural counties where mental health clinics are scarce. Their insistence on community input, holding roundtables in school gymnasiums and church basements, ensured programs addressed local needs rather than imposing top-down solutions. This grassroots approach mirrored Alana's earlier work in Miami neighborhoods and reflected Tyrus's belief that true empowerment begins at the ground level. While juggling philanthropic launches, Tyrus returned to the ring for a charity exhibition match, this time wearing Resilience Foundation gear instead of his iconic Funkasaurus attire. The bout was brief but symbolic. Each takedown move became a metaphor for overcoming life's obstacles. Alana cheered ringside, holding up signs reading "Break the Silence" and "Strength and Support," encapsulating the mission they'd built together. Post-match interviews shifted from athletic jargon to personal revelations. He discussed how performance anxiety nearly derailed his comeback, and how Alana's calm presence at his corner turned dread into determination. This candid honesty resonated, demonstrating that vulnerability can deepen audience connection more effectively than any choreographed storyline. In the meantime, media critics re-evaluated Tyrus's public image. Profiles in major magazines reframed him not merely as a commentator enforcing debate, but as a bridge between entertainment and social progress. One feature described him as the wrestler who learned to fight for emotional truth, highlighting the metamorphosis from ring performer to community leader. Alana appeared alongside him in this narrative, her background in activism and fashion design adding texture to the story. Together they embodied an intersection of influence, celebrity spotlight illuminating urgent causes, advocating for holistic wellness, and championing creative collaboration across sectors. As the couple methodically balanced marriage, media duties and foundation work, they cemented a reputation for authenticity rarely seen in celebrity partnerships. Their home became a hub for brainstorming sessions, therapeutic workshops, and impromptu jam circles featuring local musicians, spaces where fame receded and candid connection reigned. Friends recount impromptu visits where they'd show up to find Tyrus leading a mindfulness circle in his living room, or Alana sketching tendon lines of a cello for a nonprofit's fundraising gala design. These moments, far removed from paparazzi lenses, illustrate a partnership rooted in shared purpose and mutual respect. Looking forward, the couple has already announced plans for a documentary that chronicles their journey from separate journeys to united mission. Tentatively titled Strength and Harmony, the film will blend behind-the-scenes footage of ring entrances, campaign speeches, and grassroots events with intimate reflections recorded in their dream studio, an art meets wellness space they're building together. Set for festival premieres later this year, the documentary promises to offer viewers a blueprint for forging boundary-crossing lives that honor both ambition and compassion. It will stand as a testament to the idea that love, when nurtured through intentional choices, can become the most transformative force a public figure wields. Back at the Resilience Foundation headquarters, excitement buzzed through the open plan office, where Tyrus and Alana hosted weekly community strategy sessions. Volunteers filed in each morning to sort grant applications, draft program outlines, and plan mobile counseling clinics. Amid stacks of patient thank you letters and sketches of new logos, Tyrus worked side by side with interns, fueling them with humorous anecdotes about life in the ring and lessons learned in quiet hospital hallways. He delighted in offering real-world advice on building resilience, turning wrestling metaphors into coaching moments. When you're backed in a corner, stance matters more than strength, he'd quip, drawing laughter and nods. Alana orchestrated partnerships with mental health experts, ensuring every initiative blended peer support with professional care. Together, their synergy transformed the office into a hub of purpose, creativity, and unwavering belief in recovery as a journey, rather than a destination. One hallmark of their approach was the traveling resilience bus, a retrofitted RV complete with therapy room, meditation pod, and a mini gym to accommodate movement-based stress relief sessions. Tyrus personally drove the bus on its inaugural tour, greeting small-town mayors and local mental health coordinators with equal enthusiasm. Standing barefoot on the bus's platform, he delivered opening remarks that balanced humor and gravity, joking about the time he got stuck mid-wheelbarrow move at a youth outreach event. These stories helped communities see him as more than an athlete or pundit. They saw a man committed to listening, learning, and adapting. Alana accompanied him on each stop, leading art therapy workshops where children created hope-themed murals inside the bus. Together they fostered dialogues about vulnerability, destigmatizing seeking help, and reminding people that strength often emerges from shared struggle. Their work also extended into digital realms. Through a dedicated mobile app, the foundation offered guided breathing exercises, motivational talks, and a peer message board where users could share daily reflections. Tyrus lent his voice to narrated modules, recounting personal anecdotes about managing panic before big matches and interviews. Each module concluded with practical takeaways, breathing patterns, daily gratitude journals, and simple stretching routines to realign mind-body connection. Alana curated content on artistic expression, uploading tutorial videos on sketching as a meditative practice, and hosting live Kinda sessions with mental health professionals. The app's seamless design encouraged consistent engagement. Its notification reminders were crafted with Alana's insight into timing optimally to avoid user stress. Within weeks, download numbers soared into the hundreds of thousands, reflecting a hunger for accessible, relatable mental health tools. Critics initially questioned whether celebrity-driven initiatives could sustain real change, but data proved otherwise. Independent evaluations reported a 25% reduction in self-reported anxiety among pilot participants, and local clinics noted increased appointment requests before and after resilience bus visits. Media outlets that once buzzed about scandal now published in-depth stories, highlighting the foundation's tangible impact. A recent feature in Health Today magazine titled "From Power Bombs to Peace of Mind" praised the program's holistic model. Yet beyond metrics and headlines, Tyrus and Alana measured success by personal stories. A young veteran who found purpose through wrestling-inspired group therapy, and a high school student whose self-portrait mural now graces a counseling center wall. These narratives underscored the heart of their mission, creative collaboration grounded in empathy. In the months leading up to their one-year anniversary, they expanded the Resilience Foundation's reach overseas. Alana traveled to partner clinics in Barcelona and Lisbon, providing training for counselors on art-centric therapy models. Meanwhile, Tyrus represented the foundation at the United Nations World Mental Health Day conference in Geneva, where he delivered a keynote address that combined his signature candor with heartfelt admissions. He described his time in wrestling rings as an early probe into human limits, and credited Alana with teaching him that shared vulnerability builds communal resilience. Back home, they launched a scholarship fund dedicated to young creatives and athletes who balance artistic pursuits with sports, hoping to foster environments where identity isn't defined by a single role. Their cross-disciplinary ethos attracted attention from academic institutions, prompting invitations to guest lecture at universities from Columbia to UCLA. The couple emphasized that academic study and lived experience must integrate to produce lasting change, another testament to their belief that healing transcends conventional categories. They collaborated with local filmmakers to produce short documentaries, showcasing stories of individuals who overcame adversity through creative practices. One film, Rhythm and Resolve, follows a youth dance troupe guided by Alana's workshops and Tyrus's motivational coaching, screening at film festivals, and funding microgrants for grassroots arts projects. Their model became a blueprint for similar initiatives in Canada and Australia, demonstrating that the fusion of sport, art, and mental health advocacy could thrive in cultural contexts. As the Resilience Foundation celebrated its first anniversary, Tyrus and Alana took time to reflect on the journey behind them. They returned to the Santa Barbara Hacienda, where they married, now transformed into the Foundation's retreat center. There, in sunlit courtyards draped with wreaths of jasmine, they hosted a private vow renewal with the closest volunteers and a handful of press invited to document their milestone. Under a canopy of string lights, they recited new promises to keep listening deeply, to build community as they had built their bond, and to never let ambition outpace empathy. For Tyrus, the ceremony became a reminder that vulnerability remains central to his evolution, from the thunderous cheers of the wrestling ring to the hushed compassion of mental health advocacy. And for Alana, it affirmed that love and service can coexist, fueling one another in an endless cycle of hope. Meanwhile, production of the upcoming documentary Strength and Harmonies moved into high gear. Director Sophie Martinez, known for human rights films, embedded with the couple over 6 months of shoots. Behind-the-scenes footage captured Tyrus teaching teens to channel aggression into painting murals, Alana developing art installations inspired by therapy sessions and intimate conversations where they discussed fears of media scrutiny and responsibility to their constituents. In one early morning sequence, the camera follows them as they walk through a silent city park, drawing chalk affirmations on benches before dawn. The narrative thread binds their personal rituals, meditation on the hacienda terrace, spontaneous jam sessions in their home studio, to the foundation's broader impact, illustrating how small acts of creativity ripple outward to spark collective resilience. Critics previewing Strength and Harmonies praised its raw honesty and cinematic vision. At the Sundance Feature Lab screening, attendees rose in ovation to the sequence depicting Tyrus in the throes of a panic attack during a live televised debate, while Alana coached him through diaphragmatic breathing and grounding practices borrowed from their foundation's programs. Beyond that powerful moment, reviewers highlighted scenes showing Alana facilitating art therapy circles in community centers, and Tyrus leading a support group for veterans, illustrating how their synergy extends from private struggles to public service. Film festival programmers emphasize that these unvarnished setbacks alongside hard-won triumphs break from traditional celebrity documentaries. Early festival buzz quoted, "A blueprint for public figures seeking purpose beyond profit, a love story with social conscience at its core, and the film's greatest act of bravery is exposing fear itself." This critical acclaim confirmed their authenticity resonates with a global audience seeking genuine leadership. Inspired by the film's momentum, Tyrus and Alana co-authored a companion book titled The Art of Resilience, blending memoir and practical exercises. Set for release alongside the documentary's premiere, the book features illustrated chapters on creating personal support systems, building creative rituals, and translating adversity into community mobilization. Publishers expect bestseller status, given pre-orders from bookstores, and endorsements from thought leaders like Brené Brown and James Clear. To promote the release, the couple announced a speaking tour spanning 20 cities from Los Angeles to London, hosted in tandem with local nonprofits. Each event offers attendees hands-on workshops and concludes with a live Q&A, fostering direct engagement rather than perfunctory appearances. By aligning literary, cinematic and philanthropic endeavors, Tyrus and Alana demonstrate how multifaceted storytelling can amplify impact across media platforms. Behind their public ventures, Tyrus and Alana quietly expanded their personal life. Last month they adopted a rescue dog, a brindle pit bull named Hope, and featured him in lighthearted foundation promos under the tagline, "Everyone deserves a loving home." Their Santa Barbara hacienda now serves dual purposes: weekend family retreat and creative incubator for emerging artists and athletes. In satellite partnerships, they've integrated micro-retreat spaces in Los Angeles youth centers, complete with mobile art studios and meditation pods styled after the hacienda's serene courtyard. Friends note that this blending of home and mission enables seamless transitions between personal restoration and community service. As the couple envisions starting a family, they've already drafted programs aimed at children's emotional education, foreshadowing a legacy that extends well beyond their own lifetimes. As the Resilience Foundation enters its second year, Tyrus and Alana's journey stands as a testament to intentional partnership and purpose-driven leadership. By intertwining athletic grit, artistic sensitivity, and unflinching honesty, they model a blueprint for how public figures can leverage influence for tangible change. Looking ahead, they plan to pilot a virtual reality empathy training program for law enforcement recruits, an initiative inspired by Alana's therapy simulations and Tyrus's crisis response experiences. Meanwhile, their growing network of ambassadors includes former opponents, political figures, and mental health experts, reflecting the inclusive spirit at their core. Their evolving story invites other leaders to consider activism as collaboration, not spectacle, and to nurture communities with empathy as well as expertise. In our next section, we'll explore how this revolutionary model confronts systemic barriers in traditional healthcare and education systems, and how Tyrus and Alana's bold vision is reshaping social policy around the world. From local communities to global forums, Tyrus and Alana's bold vision has begun to dismantle the walls that once confined healthcare and education to rigid silos. They recognized early on that mental health care often remains inaccessible due to insurance gaps, geographic isolation, and social stigma. In response, the Resilience Foundation partnered with leading academic institutions to create a first-of-its-kind mobile mental health unit integrated with school districts. These units travel directly to underfunded schools, offering on-site counseling, crisis intervention, and resilience workshops. Teachers and administrators undergo training sessions to identify warning signs and deliver basic emotional first aid, equipping them to become frontline mental health advocates. By shifting resources into schools, Tyrus and Alana bypass traditional clinic waiting lists, ensuring children receive timely support in familiar environments. On the healthcare front, they engaged lawmakers in crafting policy proposals that tether funding to outcomes measured by student wellness metrics and community resilience indices. Their data-driven pilot programs generated compelling results. Schools that hosted resilience bus visits reported a 30% drop in behavioral referrals and a 25% increase in attendance rates. Inspired by these successes, state legislators introduced bills to allocate renewable funding streams for school-based mental health services, leveraging Tyrus and Alana's model as legislative precedent. Through carefully staged public hearings, the couple presented first-hand testimonies alongside statistical evidence, humanizing complex policy debates and rallying bipartisan support. Recognizing the digital divide as a barrier to equitable care, the foundation also spearheaded an initiative to supply rural clinics and school libraries with telehealth stations. These stations, outfitted with secure video conferencing tools and privacy booths, connect students and families to licensed therapists across state lines. By negotiating with internet service providers, they secured reduced broadband rates for participating communities, thereby expanding telehealth reach without burdening local budgets. A rural Wyoming school district saw its first mental health counselor in centuries conduct virtual sessions from a renovated shipping container, a project funded and branded in collaboration with the Resilience Foundation. This example illustrates how Tyrus and Alana's creative problem-solving redefines resource allocation in underserved areas. In education policy, they launched a nationwide fellowship program placing mental wellness stewards in teacher training colleges. These stewards integrate mindfulness practices, trauma-informed teaching methods, and creative expression modules into teacher curricula. By embedding emotional literacy at the start of an educator's career, the foundation aims to cultivate school climates where emotional well-being is treated as core to academic success. Early evaluation indicates that graduates of these programs adopt supportive classroom management styles, reducing punitive disciplinary measures and fostering inclusive learning spaces. The groundwork laid by this initiative has spurred curriculum reviews in several state education departments. Beyond schools and clinics, Tyrus and Alana's model reached law enforcement training academies. Their virtual reality empathy simulations immersively expose recruits to scenarios involving mental health crises, cultural misunderstandings, and crisis negotiation. Working with technologists and game designers, they crafted modules that allow officers to experience de-escalation techniques and witness the impact of stigma on marginalized populations. Graduates of these programs report improved communication skills and a 40% reduction in forceful interventions during field training. Chapters of the International Association of Chiefs of Police have expressed interest in adopting the curriculum nationally. Internationally, the foundation consulted with ministries of health in developing nations to adapt the resilience bus concept. In South Africa, a pilot resilience truck traveled through townships' listening centers, combining art therapy with community music performances. The truck arrived in Nairobi's informal settlements to host storytelling circles that address trauma related to urban violence. In each context, Tyrus and Alana emphasize cultural customization, recognizing that resilience looks different across societies. Their hands-on approach earned them invitations to the World Health Organization, where they contributed to drafts of new mental health action plans that stress community-led interventions as equal to clinical treatments. To support long-term sustainability, the Resilience Foundation established an endowment fund invested in social impact bonds. Returns on these bonds finance future expansions, ensuring that their systemic interventions can continue independent of annual donations. The couple's decision to leverage financial instruments underscores their belief that social change requires both grassroots activism and shrewd economic planning. Their next objective involves constructing regional resilience academies, spaces where professionals across sectors, educators, therapists, law enforcement, artists, and athletes co-train and design integrated community strategies. As they look ahead, Tyrus and Alana remain dedicated to elevating marginalized voices. They invited youth ambassadors onto their foundation board, ensuring lived experience guides policy. Their journey from wrestling to policy innovation illustrates how figures can become architects of social reform. In forging blueprint, they show that meaningful change arises as leaders and communities collaborate to build systems rooted in resilience, compassion, and well-being.